I'm currently having leftovers of what my mom cooked around 8:45 p.m., which consisted of a meal of pork chops with gravy that my mom made at home, peas, and udon noodles. I opted to have the udon noodles while my mom had some rice. It seemed like the kind of rice was white rice, based on what I saw. Everything I'm having currently, my mom got from our local Wegmans. I'm currently editing the May 14 My Dinner video in Camtasia 2019. I've been at my mom's place since getting back from voting for the school district budget. And the school board elections. Yeah, I wasn't aware of where any of the candidates stood in regards to issues regarding the school district. Nor was I really aware of what the 2024 slash 2025 school year budget would exactly spend money on. Except for part of the ballot was to purchase eight small school buses and two wheelchair small school buses, of which I voted yes to approve that purchase, as well as the increased school budget. Since I figure that increased school spending is ultimately a benefit to today's students, I recall from my experience as a student within that district, and what I've heard in the news, that the students in our district are pretty diverse. Thus, I felt that students of a variety of backgrounds would benefit from the increased school funding. As for the school board vote, I ultimately decided to vote for the incumbent, since I felt they were at least mildly progressive. Even though on the ballot I just had their names. I couldn't do any research, any quick research on my phone, since there wasn't any cell service in the building where the voting was taking place, which seemed to be some kind of conference center for the school district. I should have done some quick research and made an effort to memorize what was proposed in the budget. Even though I was told in advance that the vote would be today, I kind of forgot about it until a passing customer had one of those "I voted" stickers on her shirt, and I asked about it, that sticker. I was able to tell who the three encumbrants were because there was an I symbol right after their names on the ballot. Though my first ballot had to be voided and spoiled because when I tried to cast it, the machine rejected it. And incorrectly marked it in the process, marked it outside of the, caused my ballot to be marked outside of the circles you mark in order to vote. On the paper ballot, you mark the circles using a special kind of permanent marker. Thankfully, my second attempt ballot was successfully cast after a different machine and different voting cubicle / desk with a different pen was used. Though, that machine initially returned it once, and I felt a little nervous. I'm afraid that my second attempt ballot would have to be voided and spoiled until that machine cast it on the second attempt. It wouldn't have felt good if my second attempt ballot had to be voided and spoiled. I worked at Wegmans today from 9:30 in the morning to 6 p.m. I took my first 15-minute break around 2 p.m. because around 1:30 p.m. when I initially planned on taking my first 15-minute break, a bunch of merchandise intended for the hard item section of the produce department was loaded onto my cart, and I didn't feel like it would be right if I just left that stuff on my cart while I took my first 15-minute break at the time. So I decided to first restock everything on my cart before I took my first 15-minute break. I took my lunch roughly from 4 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., during which I had a pre-made chicken Cobb salad with bacon and made by Wegmans. With a 16-ounce bottle of Upstate Farms branded whole milk. I took my second and last 15-minute break at 5:30 p.m. At one point during my shift, I restocked the mushroom section of the produce department. If I recall, it was roughly from about half an hour before I took my lunch, and then at least an hour after I took my lunch. Either way, it was during the mid to late afternoon hours to the very early evening hours. I recall being woken up at 8:15 in the morning by the alarm I set on my laptop using a third-party website. Around 8:30 in the morning, I had with a cup of plain coffee my mom made for me, some scrambled eggs that my mom also made for me. I recall going to sleep today around 3:45 in the morning, though thankfully, despite not getting much sleep, I didn't nod off or even feel sluggish at any point during my shift at Wegmans. I recall during the first half hour of my shift having 1 cup of coffee from one of the coffee pods provided by the break room, and a paper cup that's also provided by the break room. I recall the sky was clear, it was pretty sunny, and the temperature was around the mid 70s Fahrenheit. So not as hot as it was yesterday, but the weather was still pretty summer like. Thankfully, a friend on Oceania helped me, so though initially these chickens too were also ill when I got back from working at Wegmans and from voting, these were ultimately saved.